So we got the movie Meet, Greet, and Buy is the newest Filipino movie releasing in cinemas just in time for the cozy cuffing season of holiday and Thanksgiving. It's literally like in 3 days, the time of recording this. It's released by Star Cinema, and the director, guess what, is Kathy Garcia-Sampana, which is also the director from the critically acclaimed Lightning in a Bottle that came out last year around this time, Hello Love Again, which that movie was astronomical. That was amazing. So I'm glad she came back to direct a new movie with Star Cinema, no doubt. It's Tagalog spoken with English subtitles, although to be very honest with you, I feel like the most of the movie is Tagalog spoken. There's subtitles for the whole runtime, but some of the characters talking sentences or words, it's like maybe 8% English, so that was pretty cool. So basically we have a family, right? Brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, whatever, right? You know, immediate family, extended family, or whatever, right? They come back from all over the world, right? I guess one of them is living in Los Angeles for a holiday tradition to unfortunately find out that their mother's cancer has progressively returned, aka brain cancer is what she has. Will she beat the cancer this time? And what about the family dynamic? Why are some of the siblings mad at each other? Find out as we talk about it. Look, I'm not gonna lie, before watching this movie, I wasn't really too excited. I mean, let's be honest, last year when Star Cinema released the amazing movie Hello Love Again, I felt like that movie was just so good that no other movie can compete with it. And the truth is, the heavy subject matter is prevalent in this film. When you walk into it and when you walk out, you are very thankful that you have your health, you know, your body, your loved ones around you in good condition. It really makes you feel and thankful for the life that you have now, because especially with the subject material that's happening in this movie, it's not an easy watch. I wouldn't say it's a tearjerker, but I wouldn't say this is a fun. Yes, there is some comedy sprinkled throughout the film, but it isn't about that. This is telling a totally different story with a new cast of characters. And forgive me, I did walk in 10 minutes late. I did call the theater, hey, do you guys have trailers for your movie? They're like, yeah, we have 20 minutes. So I came in like 10 minutes late. I'm like, damn, I missed the first 10 minutes, but don't worry. I talked to some of the patrons there, so we have a graduation. They're all coming back. They're saying hi to each other, but it's the dinner scene, right? The dinner scene, right? So the dinner scene, they're all talking. They're about to take a photo when they notice that the mom, she stays still for a little bit. And I was thinking, what is she doing? Is she zoning out? And then I'm just like, oh my god, is she having like some sort of whatever or something, you know? And it's clear to us that we find out after that the doctor, because the kids are calling her Brad, he's just like, yeah, you know, something's up. And then the doctor's like, yeah, I think we have her brain cancer come back, that she had a non-compulsive seizure or something like that. I'm like, wow, dude, like I usually think of seizures as people moving up like in the floor, but for someone to stay still for a little bit, like, dude, like what if you're driving, you know, what if you're showering, that's crazy, or swimming or working out, you know, on the treadmill, that is kind of scary, you know, to be honest, to just stay still for like a few seconds, maybe it was literally a minute, you know, but people were looking at her like, are you okay? And like, what the hell? Like that is cause for concern to see the doctor. So that was like the main crux where we're gonna start the film review off. Look, I'm not gonna pretend that I know this cast, because I honestly I don't, but I do gotta say they do have chemistry and they synergize well in terms of the chemistry they have with each other. I really did believe that the people that I saw on screen, the actors and actresses, really felt like a real family. Like the way they all synergize together, the way they look at each other, they talk to each other, that time away from each other where they feel like, hey, you've been gone for so long, but you're still my family, but something is bubbling in the surface in the turmoil. You really do feel that and you see that. Look at me. Now I'm being serious. Look at me. My dad's from Mexico, so I'm half Mexico, but my mom's from Philippines. That's why I love like international cinema, because if I know anything from Filipino culture or all culture, is that family is the foundation and crux of your life. It really means everything to us. Although I am kind of detached from it, I'm sorry, I live in Chicago, Illinois, and I feel like I do understand it, but I just been so grinding towards my goals. I guess that I don't want to, and this is really bad what I'm about to say, it's just that you get Americanized or cityized or whatever, because yeah, I live in Chicago, but I do understand the culture influence we have on each other in terms of the society. And you see that in Toupei's character, which is the older brother. Now, the reason why I say older brother is because we'll talk about it later, scene where Brad is like, you're supposed to be the oldest, but you're actually not, you know, we'll see what's up. So you do see that because Toupei goes to Los Angeles to start his restaurant and has a girlfriend named Rachel, but he comes back because of this incident. However, I think I said this last year in my Hello Love Again. Filipino movies, the thing they do best, or one of the many things they do best, is they do a great job of making you see and also feel what the characters are going through in terms of the sadness, the happiness, the ferocity and their anger, the tears when they're crying, along with the cinematic score and soundtrack. It's the intensity, the feeling that gives you, that tugs at your heartstrings, to be honest with you. It really feels authentic, palpable, and genuine. When I saw Hello Love Again and I saw this movie, the movie doesn't shy away from heavy scene. Sorry, there's a plane. And it's Monday. So the movie doesn't shy away from heavy scenes. It just lingers on the characters with emotional moments in terms of bickering back and forth. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, dude, Star Cinema, you guys have like almost mastered that craft, because human emotion is something that I first loved when I saw Hello Love Again, but then they brought it back here, you know, with the brothers. Now it's multiple characters, you know? There is one scene that I do gotta talk about, and maybe slight spoilers, but I'm not gonna give away too much, right? So they're at the house, right? They're bickering back and forth, and this is like the middle of the movie, right? And I wouldn't say it's the climax, right? This is like the revelation or what's going on, but I'm not gonna tell you what happens, right? So just like I told you, you know, Toupee came back from Los Angeles, right? So he has a business, whatever, right? He has a house there, and he's thinking about moving back to Philippines, and Brad's like, oh, you're gonna stay here, you're gonna do our chicken roast business, right? Whatever. So they're arguing, right? And the whole brothers and sisters are there, right? Everyone's there. The guy with the plays the guitar, Gertie's there, and the mom's there, right? And Brad is like, he's just telling everything of how he truly feels. He's like, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, why are you here? Like, did you just want money? Like, are you gonna go back to the Americas? And I thought it was a very creative take, because Toupee, the older brother, he was talking back, but in English, right? And Brad's like telling him off. He's like, you weren't here, you weren't a father to Gertie. I had to be the father figure. I had to take care of mom. I had to take care of this family while you run off and played whatever, you know? And he was being honest with you. And this scene was like the core moment where I told you Filipinos do well of doing emotions very like tremendously on screen. So Toupee, not only does he respond, but he responds in English. He's talking back in English. He's like, oh, why are you telling me this way? He's saying the bad words in English, and Brad has had it, right? And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Brad is saying like, why are you not speaking Philippines or Tagalog, right? And then Brad and Toupee comes back in full force. He's like, all right, in Tagalog then. And then he tells him everything in Tagalog. I'm like, dude, like that was just the showcasing of like the society or the influence that America had on him, because he was responding back in English. And I knew that. I was like, wow, like why is he talking back in English? Even though they're arguing heavily. The brothers and sisters are there. This is like all the emotions coming to the forefront, you know? And I thought that was very creative, because Toupee doesn't shy about like being English. I thought he was doing it for mockery or just because his vocabulary, and it's a very emotional scene. And that's why I say that Filipinos do a great job of making you feel the emotions. And I thought that was very creative. Talking back in English because he came from America, even though they're having this intense conversation about mom, you know, the daughters. He's like, oh, you're the eldest, but Brad was like, no, I'm the eldest. I'm taking care of mom. We have like, are we fighting because I want to be right or you want to be right? And I'm not trying to give away too much, but if you've seen the scene, you know what I'm talking about in terms of the power struggles, the performance. Brad is saying, oh, mom always picked you. You were always her favorite child, blah, 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 blah. Dude, and like, I felt like that scene like was so grounded in real life. And that's why I wanted to talk about it here. You know, I was like, dude, like, oh my God. Like, it was so good. It was beautifully acted and well done. And I'm like, that is like one of the peak cinemas, especially in this movie. That scene will always remind me of like, dude, when you're brothers and sisters and you're talking in a different language and you never forget your roots. So that was amazing. Okay, so before we end the review, I gotta talk about two negatives, right? That's right, two negatives. So some scenes had this oversaturated film grain. It like just looked really bad. It was like really sharp or anti-analyzing. Sorry, I can't say the word. It's like what you see in video games. It just didn't look good. It was maybe like 5% or 7% of the movie. It was noticeable, but it quickly faded away. Now, I don't know if it's this particular movie or this particular theater that I was, aka, I'm sorry, Landmark Theaters, I love you guys, but I don't know if it was in the editing room or it was a creative art style. I just noticed because some people pointed it out. I think I was sitting in like the middle row and some person in the front in the color, they were saying like, oh, it looks weird. And it did look weird for a little bit, but then it quickly looked well again. But I'm like, I don't know if it's that the movie itself or, I'm sorry, Landmark Theaters, please, I'm not throwing you under the bus because I went to your theaters before. Your auditoriums are amazing, you know, right? So I don't know if it's just because of that or maybe there's some technical aspects, whatever, right? That's one thing. But the second thing is, as much as I love the emotional journey of this, you do get some side characters that introduce or some storylines that you really don't get from film it. Like, for example, Toupee and Garcia, right? Yeah, they're mad at each other, and you see that when he picks her up before the dinner scene. But then towards the latter half of the movie, the second half, Toupee, I guess they make up. Now, that could have happened off screen, or maybe because I'm half Filipino, so I don't really fully understand how they got there. But I'm missing the bridge that made them reconcile their relationship, right? I'm thinking to the movie, I'm like, okay, they're mad at each other, and yeah, they're trying to get tickets for the mom, they're hanging out, they're going on like I don't want to say dates, but like, you know, outings and stuff. I missed that opportunity. Where did they make up? Where was that foundation? You know, where was that bridge that got them there? And maybe it happened off screen, or maybe because I'm not culturally Filipino like 100% because I don't live over there, but still, that is one thing I'm just like, where was that bridge? You know, like bridge to Bethia. But still, I'm just like, that connection, I didn't see that happen in terms of reconciliation. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna give this a grade. I just don't feel right giving a movie like this a grade. I mean, I will say it's a good watch, although it's not a happy watch. I mean, it is happy, but it is heavy on the subject material. Like, it's not too happy, you know? Just be careful when you watch this, but still, it's a great time at the cinemas. And being a half Filipino, I love seeing international movies. If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Consider hitting that like button and turning off notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care. Bye. Today's Monday. Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so expect some more videos or maybe some Black Friday shopping as well, but we'll talk soon. Bye.